What up, YouTube? Today we're going to be replacing the alternator on this 2016 Jeep Grand Cherokee 3.6 liter. Let's get started. Alright, so first we need to access our battery. So we'll go ahead and take this carpet out of the way a little bit. We'll lift this cover up. And there's our battery, so we want to get that all disconnected. And take a 10 millimeter, we're going to go ahead and loosen both of the battery terminals. And then for our positive, it's going to be this nut right here. And I'm using a wrench just because I personally find it easier on these vehicles to get in here with this tool than something else. Ratcheting is certainly helpful as well. And once you get those loose, you can just pull them up and off. All right, so now that we got the battery disconnected, I'm getting ready to take the belt off. We got a 3/8 ratchet with a long extension here. Really, it's just a socket and an extension slid over the ratchet. Anyway, I want to bring attention to the alternator. There will be no electrical diagnosis needed here. Look at that bad boy. That thing is done for. It was making noise for quite a while before it failed, and then it finally went out. And we got some big chunk of metal right here. Sorry for the light, but it's right up there above the belt there. So definitely a bad alternator for sure. So what we want to do is go ahead and get this belt out. So we'll go ahead and pull the tensioner down just like this. And then you can slide the belt off. I may need my second hand, so I'm going to set this down for 1 sec. You guys should still be able to hear me. And then I'm going to pull this belt off the alternator, and then I'll show you. Sorry for the dark screen for a sec, but with this pushed back like that, you got enough slack to slide it off the alternator. And then now we can get to what we need to get to here, which is going to be, let me get my light in here for you. There's 2 bolts right here at the top. We're going to need to get to those. There's the electrical connector from the battery. We're going to need to get to that. Then there's going to be another bolt and a nut as well on the bottom. So we're going to need to get those off also. Alright, so I've gone ahead and, oh dear, there goes my light. I've gone ahead and pre-loosened this bottom nut here off camera. So I'm going to go ahead and take the nut off so you guys can see. It's a ground that goes from basically from the engine to the chassis here. Oh, it's a terrible lighting setup, but there's where it goes on the other side. And then you can kind of see that it's off the alternator there. And then underneath that, we've got another probably a 13. I'm gonna need a deep on that one as well to get that off. And then up here on the top, once again, sorry for the lighting, I dropped it, but I already went ahead and pre-loosened these 2 bolts as well with my ratchet. None of these that I loosened already are hard to get to. There's nothing special to it as far as like special ways to get your ratchet in there or anything like that. I may have to go back on this front bolt with the ratchet again because it's not quite loose enough for me to get it out with my hand. But I believe that both of these top bolts here are the same. So I'll get one out so you can see what it looks like. And I'll go ahead and get this other one out, and then we'll loosen up the bottom one, show you what that looks like as well. So this is about how long they are. Like I said, both of them up top are exactly the same. So I'm going to go ahead and get the other one out now. Get this. Definitely done for. Alright, so I went ahead and took the bottom bolt out as well. It's about as long as the other ones, at least from where the nut's at. So they're all pretty much the same. Bottom one's just a little different. So the alternator went ahead and fell down there after that. So now we've got access to the electrical. This here is just going to be to push the red pin up towards where I'm flicking my thumb. And then we can push down on a tab and unplug it. And I'll get you a closer view there of that. So like I said, that little clip there needs to get pushed up. And then we can unplug that. And then we need to pop this cap off with a flathead. I believe there's going to be a 13mm nut underneath that we need to remove. And then the alternator should come right on out. Alright, so I went ahead and slid the red tab up. And then there's a little black tab right below it that you want to push down and pull out. And then I went ahead and popped the cover off and loosened the 13mm nut a little bit. Once I take that off the rest of the way, this red cable should just slide right off. So we'll go ahead and do that now. And then, once we pull this off, we should be able to go ahead and go get our new one, and then we can avoid the core charge. That's always nice. We'll just put that back on there for just a second. And then grab it by the ear. Man, this thing is heavy. Way heavier than it looks. Oh, there it is right there. As destroyed as it is. Man. This thing is way heavier than your average alternator too. I mean, I know I was picking it up with one hand, but man, that is significantly heavier than alternators that I remember. I mean, I know it's been a little while since I've been replacing this kind of stuff on the regular, but wow, this thing is heavy. Alright, moving on. We're going to go get a new one. We're going to slide it right on in there and reverse the procedure. Alright, so I'm going to move a little faster on the install because it's pretty much the same stuff all over in reverse. So I did go ahead and plug in both electrical connections, and I got the nut tightened down here. Put the clip back down in place. Now I'm going to go ahead and mount up the alternator to the engine. Here's the bottom hole. And there's the top two holes, so we're going to go ahead and get these bolts put in and tighten them down. Alright, so we got it back in there. Bottom bolts in and tight. Ground strap back on. And the upper two bolts are tight as well. Electrical connection is on. And it looks like somehow that cover back here popped off. I thought I had that on there pretty good, but apparently not. I'm going to get that on there, and then we should be good on the back. Alright, so I went ahead and pulled the tensioner back, and we got the belt back on. So now we got to reconnect the battery. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and tighten the battery terminals back up. Or the cables, rather. Here's the positive. That should be good. And then here is the negative. Alright, I got it running finally, so I want to go ahead and check the I want to check the charge output on it. If I can get this damn clamp on. Jeez, there we go. And we'll put the ground on. Then the power probe just turned on here. Well, it was on. Okay. So we got the power probe on. I'm going to take the safety tip off. And we'll touch the ground here. And I know it's really difficult to, or not the ground, but the positive. If you look real close, you can see we're over 14 volts. So that's exactly where we want to be at. And that's how you do the alternator replacement on a 2016 Jeep Grand Cherokee. If this video helps you out, please leave a like or a comment below. I would greatly appreciate that. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them below as well, and I'll do my best to help you out. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'd greatly appreciate that as well. We're getting real close to 3,000. That'd be a nice benchmark for the channel. Otherwise, please check out one of these two videos. Until next time, this is Andy signing off.